Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. My name is Don, a military veteran, mindset coach, and the founder of the Don O'Neill Project, which is here to help men from all walks of life develop their mental toughness, discipline, and leadership. If these are things that you need help with, make sure you subscribe to the channel because there's more content to come in the future you will find beneficial. Previous video, I talked about emotional control for men. I talked about holding frame. And we're going to continue that conversation, but in a particular application. We're going to bring it to the realm of relationships. And in this particular aspect, discussing things with your woman or arguing, okay? This is a normal part of life if you're in a relationship. There's going to be time where the passionate discussion is going to elevate and draw out emotions, if you will. So what we're doing here is we want to look into that and see how we can engage these situations better. So guys, in our previous video, we talked about emotional control and maintaining your frame. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and attach it somewhere to the top here. Go check it out. Not right now. Finish this video. Backtrack later. And today I'm continuing that discussion. I'm continuing that discussion because I truly believe that emotional control is a huge factor that is missing among the modern day men. And it gets us in trouble in so many facets. But today's particular point I'm going to focus on is in our relationships. So let me get into it. Arguing with a woman is a losing battle. Point blank. Always a losing battle. Because it's not about whether you're right or not. Being right is irrelevant. It's about whether or not you can maintain your frame. If you lose your frame, you lose. You lost. It's a wrap. The goal for you is to always maintain your frame, because that's going to be the true needle pusher in a relationship. That's going to truly establish you and keep you in the position you need to be the leader of your relationship. So let's define frame, or maintaining your frame. So when I say maintaining your frame, what does that mean? It is your mental, emotional, inner structure. It is the standard that you hold, and you hold it against all external pressures, whether it's people challenging you, whether it's test of your integrity, things of that nature. Your frame is what keeps you locked in. It is basically how people see you. It's your character. It's your baseline of who you are, your frame. And you don't want anyone to pull you out of your character. Like, you should make decisions based on who you are and not off of your emotion. So when I say maintain your frame, it's one of the most important things you can do as a man in life across the board, is maintain your frame. Now that is semi-defined, I could probably define it a little better. If you have a definition, put it down in the comments. I'm sure to help all the brothers here. Now let me clarify that I'm not talking about a discussion. I'm talking about an argument, and sometimes they can be misconstrued. You don't want to shut down in a conversation. You want to make sure that you're having an open conversation that's in good faith, that is truly there for the sake of understanding. Argument is not there for that. The argument is competition. It's a dominance. I'm a win no matter what. And we all know where that can go. People get angry, stuff start getting thrown, names are called, a whole lot of ridiculousness. All right, let's just say a bunch of ridiculous comes with an argument, and that is not a place where a man should be with his woman. That is the wrong place to be. You want to be in your frame, and you want to sit there. You want to have a good faith conversation, understand, and see if we can come to some type of conclusion or some type of decision, or you should be making the decision as the leader of the household or the leader of the relationship. But you can't do that if you don't gain the clarity necessary. So that means you have to listen to your partner and understand their point of view, so you can progress in a way so your relationship can flourish and not just crash out as most Western relationships do. I think the studies support that. Speaking on frame, there's two aspects of frame. It's the emotional control aspect. The emotional control aspect really comes down to this managing your temper, managing your temperament, not even just your temper, like getting angry, this your temperament in general. It's all about being neutral. And sometimes when people hear emotional control, they think of robotic, they think of being cold, where that's obviously not the case, because you feel everything. You never stop feeling. You're a man, you're a human, you feel. The whole goal is not to base decisions and not to make knee-jerk reactions. You don't want to react. You want to make sure that you're always responding with intention, and that's where emotional control is so important, because that helps you maintain your frame, and it must be developed. It's a muscle. It's a muscle, and that's something else I talked about in a previous video, so please backtrack to that. The second aspect is a clarity and purpose. As a man, when you move, you should be moving with a sense of purpose. So why are you making the moves you're making? Like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get to the next level. You're trying to advance in your career. You're trying to progress your family. You're trying to raise your kids. Like, what is your purpose? What is driving you? And these factors will dictate how you move in general. And on that purpose, you don't shift. You don't shift to appease people. You don't do stuff to please people or to avoid conflict. You understand that conflict may be necessary, and you stand on what you believe. That is the cornerstone of being in your frame, is standing on your belief and holding that as your standard. So we get off of that for now. I think we understand the aspects of frame. So let's say you find yourself in one of these arguments, huh? So let me give you a few steps. Just a few things that you can do, consider, execute while you're in the middle of this discussion that's going a little bit over to an argument. Because the goal is to derail it, because we ain't trying to be in no arguments out here. You never win arguing with a woman. You hear me? You never win. It's impossible. So now, let's go. The first step is to control your breathing. So with controlling your breathing, I spoke of it before in my previous video, check it out, is the tactical retreat. It's taking that breath. Take that breath to go ahead and help you calm down. It helps you relax your body, help you relax your body physiologically, calm down your body, and which entails help you to stay more calm and relaxed in the moment to handle the situation. So bring in a breath and then proceed to the next step, right? And what's the next step? Lower your tone, not your standards. So what does that mean? We're not out here yelling. We're not out here throwing the extra bass. We're not throwing a finger in their face and putting them down. Well, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is young generation say, we standing on business. We holding our square. I think the slightly older folks say. It's all about maintaining your position and holding your frame. You don't need to yell. You don't need to project your voice. What you do is you project with your masculinity. You let your standard hold the weight. You let your presence carry the tone. Don't get out of pocket, because as soon as you start raising your voice, you start yelling, guess what? You losing your frame. That's not what we want. Okay? Stay on principle and not emotion. Emotion is one of the largest driving factors in an argument. Is I feel this way, you feel this way, and now we clashing. Focus on the principle of the matter. If this is the case in this situation, it's unacceptable, and it cannot proceed this way. And that's one way we want to keep the interaction moving forward. You don't want to get stuck in ruts of emotion. Well, I feel this way, I feel that way. Feelings and such. Yeah. All that being said, you're allowed to feel. And of course, you're going to feel things. But like I said, emotional control. Another thing. So you're in the middle of this intense discussion. We could be trying to prevent it from being the argument, but it's getting a little challenging. So you're holding your frame and stuff is just going everywhere. It's going crazy. Just the energy is coming at you. It's pretty chaotic. You know how those arguments can be. So there's going to be bait that comes your way. Yeah, there's going to be some bait coming your way. And those bait can come in many different ways. It could be them questioning you. They could be them calling you out for something you did years ago, a week ago, a month ago. It could be questioning your manhood. It can be many elements. And that is the step here. Do not take the bait. Do not take the bait, because she knows exactly what she's doing. She's trying to weaponize anything she has, because she does not appreciate the fact that you are not in your emotional state. She doesn't appreciate the fact that she feels like she is in this whirlwind and you're just standing there looking calm and trying to manage the situation. She wants you to be where she is, and your goal is not to be where she is. So the bait is coming, and the bait can come as disrespect. Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, fellas, we haven't got to that point in this channel yet, but disrespect is so unacceptable. It's the most unacceptable thing you can have in a relationship. So the disrespect is flying, and for a man, that's hard. That's hard to stay in your frame when disrespectful things are coming out of your partner's mouth. But in this instance, you still maintain your frame because it's still to your benefit. It does not benefit you to react, because a reaction after disrespect is probably not going to be the best reaction anyway. So you want to make sure that you respond with intent. And that intent may be as much as saying, hey, listen, if you keep taking these actions, if you keep placing this kind of bait, if you keep saying these certain kind of things, this conversation in this relationship is over. It can be to that degree, it can be to that level, but it's all about responding with intention versus just start yelling, what do you mean? Like, because that gets you nowhere. It gets you nowhere. Now you just caught up in the whirlwind. You don't want to be caught up in the whirlwind. They need to understand where you at in that moment. In that moment, what you said was unacceptable, and it can lead to this conversation and this relationship ending. Another thing is silence is important. Silence is important for multiple reasons. One, you want to make sure that you're listening, because when you're listening, you want to take in this information, and at the right point, you want to be able to summarize and give it back exactly the way they gave it to you. Not angry thing, but you want to be able to rephrase it, summarize it, paraphrase it, however you want to say it, back to them so they can understand that you understand everything that they said. Because then it is a point where we can both make sure that we understand and we agree on what we're talking about. Very, very, very important. Very important to understand what she's talking about, or why she's even yelling, or why she's mad. Because then when you hear it and you can give it back to them, they have no choice but their knowledge that yes, that is what I'm talking about. Okay, now we got a point where we understand each other. And how can we build? So now it gives you something to build on. So that's where silence come in. One. Two, you can't have a comeback every time. Like, this isn't some witty debate. Like, sometimes it's just better just to let the storm just go. Let it go. Just sit there, take it in, hear what's being said. But don't, even though you have something, even if you got something you want to say, let it ride. Let it ride in the moment. Put a pin in it, if you will. Because sometimes it's better just to let silence win. Let silence ring on your side of the fence, because it only helps you. Because sometimes less is more. I would argue most of the time less is more. So the less is, you say, is better. But the thing that you want to do is make sure that she understands what you're saying, you understand what she's saying, and that you're listening, and that you're not talking too much. Because sometimes your words are just adding more fuel, and let's just avoid that. No, just we try and get this discussion over. Really, guys, tell me, like, who just wanted to end? Just give me a thumbs up and comment. You just want you just want it to end at the end of the day, all right? Another thing, sometimes you just gotta leave, and leave can mean that moment things are just getting way too heated, emotions are way too high. Sometimes you have to step away. Sometimes that's when you just gotta grab your coat, grab your keys, and just physically leave the moment in the situation and just make distance. Sometimes you have to leave the actual relationship, depending on how extreme the situation is. As a man, you always gotta be willing to walk away, whether it be for a walk around the block, whether it be a stay at your brother's house, or whether it be just leaving the relationship. You gotta be in a position to understand that sometimes as a man, you just gotta be able to walk away. Being able to walk away is the greatest strength you have as a man in modern day society. In modern day society, you walking away is the biggest play you have. And this is not just about relationships, even in negotiations. If you're not willing to walk away, then you're going to be taken for a ride every time. Same for relationships. So no, that is a real thing. So knowing when to cut it, say, okay, all right, we talked enough. This is not going anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and separate for now. We can revisit this in the future. However way you need to say it, however way it needs to be done. But sometimes you got to know when to step away from a particular situation. So after all that yammering, what do I want you to take from this? I want you to understand that maintaining your frame is number one above all. When you get into these situations where you're pushed into what may be an argument or something of the sort, your goal is to make sure you're listening. You want to make sure that you're sticking to the topic, you're sticking to your principles, you're not raising your voice, you stand in your frame, your masculine presence, you're allowing that to speak for you. You're not using your tone. You're not elevating your tone to try to match her energy. You're never trying to match her energy. That's not what you're trying to do. You want to make sure that she's understood. You want to make sure that you can take in everything she's saying and give it back to her, so y'all have a genuine point of understanding. And at the end of the day, if it's just getting out of hand and you really just can't control it and stuff is just going too hectic, you must know that you need to walk away. It's imperative for many reasons, but at that moment, physically walk away from the situation or walk away from the relationship, whatever's required for that particular scenario. But listen, gentlemen, if you stayed this long and listened to me ramble, I really hope you got something out of it. I want to do these weekly. I want to have a real talk. I want y'all to understand my position, where I'm from, and hopefully give you tips that can help you as you're on your path of developing your mental toughness, discipline, and leadership. So guys, my name Don O'Neill. Thank you for coming to the channel. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you check out the previous video I've been talking about. It's up here now. Get on it, check it out, and I have another video coming soon. You take it easy. Peace.